Cheers! Welcome to Movie Bitches! Fall movie catch-up!
So, we both also watched
Yes.
Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
Yes. Now, you've seen Mrs. Arris Goes to Paris, right?
I have indeed.
It was on my watch list because Angela Lansbury.
Obviously.
Obviously.
And Diana Rigg and Omar Sharif.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, how would you compare them to?
Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, I'm sorry, I won't do it anymore, is pure fantasy, delightful, light. One of those movies that when you watched as a kid, like it's just like pure joy.
Okay, great.
Mrs. Harris is a fantasy, is mostly joyful, but they leaned a little bit more into the realism of the time.
Sure.
And the sadness of
Was
the
there
war.
as much of the her husband?
No, I mean, I haven't seen it in a little while, but all I remember
gotcha.
from Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is like, she goes to Paris and then everyone thinks everything she says is the best idea ever and she changes everyone's lives for the, it's like she comes in to be
She's like Mary Poppins.
She's Mary Poppinsing it and everyone's like, oh my God, you've brought joy into my life.
Oh, look at those lovely flowers.
Yes, indeed. You like flowers, madame?
Oh, yes, I'm very fond of flowers. I see you've got a little rose in your buttonhole.
Yes, it's a rosette.
Oh. I've got some nice geraniums in my window box at home.
And it's just like pure delight.
I love that. That was sort of this, but it was clunky. I liked
this.
it.
The pacing was a little slow.
Yeah.
All the performances were great.
The costumes were lovely.
They
were
lovely.
Not costumes. They were historical Dior outfits.
I will say I am upset they montaged through it.
Sure.
I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
This is why I came to this film.
That is
Show
true.
me the shine on these buttons
Yep.
and the stitching on that skirt. Oh no, I didn't get to see that one. This is why I came. This is why I paid my money for this ticket. So I'll say that.
Yes, I get that.
I was upset, but what I could see of the costumes, fabulous. Pure fabulous.
Yes.
The hot guy from Emily in Paris shows up. The hot French guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he
For what I
plays hot French guy.
Yeah. He's not great.
His range is, I'm hot and French. That's his range. And I'm like, you know what? That'll take you pretty far.
This whole storyline was weird where it was like, oh.
We're not, Alicia Vikander and him were...
Yes. they were in love, or weren't they in love? But then also, like, he's trying to save the company, but is he? And also, like...
So in my memory of, in the original, it's just, she's like, well, what if you did this? And they're all like, that's the best idea we've ever heard, Mrs. Harris. Let's do it. You save the company.
So there's not like a curmudgeonly Isabelle Huppert character?
There is, but it's just like, how about
Streamlined.
this? Great, we love it. Like it just
Great.
seemed very like...
Keep it moving.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
You opened a door for this random person that then turned out to be the person who did
Right.
it. Like it's all very just like...
Well, and that's what I liked about the most parts that I liked about it was the pay it forward of it all, where it's just like, oh, she put out nice things into the universe, and then nice things came back, and isn't that nice? That's nice.
Yeah.
I want to just go out and be nice to people.
Yeah, yeah.
It was very that, and so like for that reason and the costumes, you could watch it. Everything
nice.
else was perfectly whatever.
Leslie Manville plays Mrs. Harris. She
Yes.
was in Phantom Thread,
Yes.
it was giving me flashbacks, and I was like, I gotta go rewatch Phantom Thread.
Yes.
Ugh, this was perfectly lovely. A little slow.
A little slow. Remember that? What was that? Shall We Dance? That's not what it was called.
Follow Your Fleet.
Follow Your Feet.
Follow the Fleet is, I think, like a Ginger Rogers musical or
that makes
some
sense.
old-timey musical.
Sure.
I think.
Anchors Away, and then they did Follow the Fleet or whatever.
Yeah,
Sure. Similar kind of vibes, right? Like one of those feel-goody British movies with like a British woman that you sort of know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it worked in that sense. If I watched this on a plane...
Perfect. Take
Yeah.
a little snooze in the middle, wake up. Oh my God, more outfits.
Oh my God. Oh, she did something nice. Oh.
I guess because they set the tone as not pure fantasy, I kept expecting it to get darker.
Oh.
But like the main model girl kept being like, oh, I'm so sad and something's going on, and I was like, oh, is she like being
Abused
or something? Like
she's
it's
just
something,
existential.
She's having ennui, but like they make it seem like she's something is going on.
Right.
Like very sad.
Well, right.
And so I kept being like, is this going there? I mean, I don't know. No.
Maybe she doesn't want to be a model and have all of the attention. She just wants to read books at home with her hot French lover. Fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. They can talk about Camus. Who cares?
Needed just to be shored up a little.
Yeah, it just needed a little trims.
But don't montage through the clothes.
No.
I don't like it. That's all. That's my biggest complaint. Anyway, it was nice.
It was nice.
To wrap up the wrap-up, there was a few other movies I watched that are old that I really thought I should just recommend.
Okay, great. I love that.
Why not?
You know, yes, actually.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
So I watched this movie called The Vanishing.
Okay. I feel like, did that come out in the past 10 to 15 years?
No.
Okay,
longer.
great.
But there was a remake that isn't as good, apparently.
Great. That came out in the last 20 years? No?
20.
Okay.
Maybe. Sandra is in it. Sandra
Bullock
is in it.
That's why.
Okay, great. No, the original
Okay.
foreign film,
Okay,
The
great.
Vanishing.
Okay.
Fair warning. This is one of those movies that's before The Vanishing and after The Vanishing.
Oh boy.
It is one of the best edited movies I've ever watched.
Wow.
It's pretty perfect. It's pretty fucked up. I don't want to tell you nothing about it.
Cool.
Don't watch it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You can watch it. The Vanishing.
Cool.
So that was one that
Great.
I would just say, putting it out there. And I also watched this fabulous pre-code movie called Hot Saturday with Cary Grant.
Oh.
I loved this movie so much. It subverted it's one of, like, if you haven't seen a lot of pre-code movies, this is a good one to start with because it subverts every kind of, you keep expecting it to go the norm.
Yeah.
And then this thing happens.
Right,
That's
right.
what always happens in movies. And it
then-
doesn't. And Cary Grant is so fucking hot. And go watch it.
Cool.
Go watch
Hot
it.
Saturday.
Hot Saturday.
His Girl Friday. Hot
Tarnished-
Saturday.
Hot Saturday. She gets tarnished by the small town gossip even though nothing happened. So she decides to lean in.
I love it. Yes, bitch.
So she was like, yeah, fuck that town. So yes, Hot Saturday. I would say if you're looking to get into the pre-code movies, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
There was a tweet that made me think of you that someone was like, after you're watching some pre-code movies, you really realize how much the Hays Code really depressed the film industry.
It's two things, because I think, with strife and regulations, people have to be more creative and therefore you get some really interesting art. But also when you go watch those pre-code movies, you're like, this is not what I thought the 1930s were like. I was fooled.
Yeah.
And so get into it. Get into it.
Cool. Oh, also one last little one. Fire of Love came out, and it was a great documentary. Highly
so
recommend.
Good. So good.
Really cool and interesting and beautiful.
The lava cinematography. I mean, it should be its own category at the Oscars.
Right?
Lava cinematography. Holy shit.
I think this could absolutely get nominated for Best Documentary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you like documentaries and...
Even if you don't.
Yeah.
It's not like a traditional documentary. It's not talking heads-y.
No.
It's not any of that. It's not like, oh, you really learned something. I mean, you might learn a little, but it's about humans.
I'm probably wrong. This might be the most beautiful documentary I've ever seen.
You're probably wrong, but
Yes.
in recent memory, absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of documentaries, but oh my God, the
Yeah.
photography and
Yeah.
the story is really fascinating. So go watch Fire of Love.
It's really well done.
There's a couple of recommendations.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cheers.
Yes. Cheers. We'll try and do these more often so they're a little bit more timely. But either way, now everything's on streaming, so that's even almost better. You didn't have to waste your money on Thor: Love and Thunder. So you're welcome.
Cheers.